from the most easiest chapter, we are going to the most difficult chapter of electrical axis. See, when there are many things in the cardiology has driven many people away. So when they look at the ECG, many people opted away from the cardiology. Say they said they went to gastroenterology, they get neurology, like that. When they come to the axis, some people have crossed that and come to the axis. When they start reading about the axis, they left medicine. They become gynecologists. When they went to the arrhythmias, people who have crossed this and went to the arrhythmias, they left medical college themselves and became engineers and auditors. So there are many chapters in this thing have driven many people away. One such topic is electrical axis. So before that, I want you to look at how our normally the heart gets activated in the chest leads first. So first we look at how the chest leads normally will look like. Why should it look like that? Well, normally how does it look and why should it look like that? So this is what you can see, that the normal sinus impulse here, which is producing the impulse through the atrial depolarization coming back. So this ECG you have seen already. So we already told you that normal QRS duration is 0.08 second. The first portion of the ventricle which gets activated is interventricular septum. The first portion gets activated is interventricular septum. This interventricular septum gets activated from left to right by the left bundle branch. The left bundle branch block first activates the interventricular septum. That is the first portion of the ventricle which gets activated. So this vector number 1, which is coming from left to right, will result in a small initial positivity in V1 and small initial positivity in lead V5 and V6, which represent septal activation going away from the left sided leads and coming towards the right sided leads. Right? That is the first septal activation. Then there is a simultaneous activation of your right and left ventricular depolarizations. Once the septal activation occurred, your right bundle branch is depolarizing the right ventricle, left bundle branch is depolarizing the left ventricle simultaneously. So although they are simultaneously depolarizing, because of the larger left ventricular muscle mass, the net vector will go towards which side? Towards the left side. That's why, because although there is a simultaneous depolarization, because the dominant vector is going towards the left side, V5 and V6 produce a predominant positive QRS complex and V1 will produce a predominant negative QRS complex. That's why in a normal ECG, the V1 shows an initial small positivity, terminal deep negativity. The initial small positivity is due to the septal depolarization, which is coming towards V1, whereas V5, V6 shows the initial small negativity and terminal big positivity. Because septal depolarization is going away, main ventricular depolarization is coming towards. This results in V5, V6 being positive, V1 is predominantly negative. So this is what the normal QRS complex depolarization, and the duration of QRS complex is less than 0.08 second. And V2, V3, V4, there is a gradual increase in your R wave. Because here a predominantly negative QRS complex is going to become a predominantly positive QRS complex. So as this happens, the gradual increase in R wave is happening from V2, little big R wave, V3 bigger R wave, V4 bigger R wave, V5, V6 totally positive R wave. So V2, V3, V4 is called transition zone, by which a predominantly negative complex is going to become a predominantly positive complex in your left sided leads. So V1 is predominantly negative, V5, V6 is predominantly positive, V2, V3, 4 is a transition zone. This is what the normal ECG looks like in chest leads. Whereas in the normal ECG in limb leads depends upon your axis. Axis determines how your L1 is going to look like, how the L2 is going to look like. This is determined by axis. That's what we are going to do, the axis. So the electrical axis, once again, we have to see because of 3 important reasons. One is to know in which direction my net cardiac impulse is traveling. This is what I told you. Know the position of the heart, horizontal, intermediate or vertical. The most important application is fascicular blocks. I told you there are 2 fascicles in which bundle? Left bundle. So left bundle has got 2 fascicles. So it is possible to diagnose individual fascicular blocks. Left anterofascicular block, left posterior block. To diagnose that, you must know the axis. Only the axis deviation will tell us the fascicular blocks. So these are the 3 reasons for which we must know about the electrical axis. And of course, the last reason is to impress others. For example, you take an ECG and within 2 seconds you say the axis is 0. Within 2 seconds you say, as soon as you take ECG and see the axis is 0, people will be astonished by your ECG knowledge. You will intimidate others with your ECG knowledge. You will impress others with ECG knowledge. So that is one of the important reasons for which you must know the axis. That's not the only reason. Right. So there are two methods. One is quick and crude method. Another is scientific and elaborate method. Which one you want? Which one you want? Quick and crude method. So many of you will, first we'll see quick and crude method, then we'll see whether scientific and elaborate method is not. How many people don't want axis? So once again, caveats or rules before we go for the calculation. As for the axis calculation, forget about chest leads. You look at the limb leads. How many limb leads we have? How many limb leads we have? 6. So remember, there are 6 limb leads. So 6 limb leads are, because people are so confused. After leaving this hall, you do not know where is your house, what bus to take. After ECG course, people are so confused. So outside, they do not know where they are, and so on. So don't get confused. So there are 6 limb leads are there. So you have to look at the 6 limb leads, and for calculation of axis, you need not look at the chest leads now. Forget about the chest leads now. Look at the 6 limb leads. Then remember the position of the leads. We'll recapitulate the position of leads. And remember the relationship of the various surfaces of the heart. Remember once again this important rule I told you. Impulse coming towards an electrode, louder. Coming towards an electrode, positive. Going away, right. Now you tell me the name of the electrodes. L1, L2, AVF, L3, AVL, AVR. Right. If you remember this, axis is very easy. Now you remember this. Now we are going to the axis calculation. The first step in axis calculation is I take the ECG, look at the 6 limb leads now, and see which of the 6 limb leads has got the tallest positive QRS complex. Very simple. Which of these 6 limb leads have the, if your eyesight is good, it is very easy. If your eyesight is good, this is very easy. Which of the 6 limbs has the tallest positive QRS complex? So that is the first thing you have to see, whether it is L1, whether it is L2 or L3. Which lead has got the tallest positive QRS complex? If L1, L2 or AVF, any one of these 3 leads shows the tallest positive QRS complex, you are dealing with a normal axis. That's all. L1, L2 and AVF. Any one of these 3 leads show the tallest positive QRS complex, you are dealing with a normal axis. I tell you why. This is my heart, isn't it? My heart is here. My left ventricle is like this. My L1 is here. My L2 is here. My AVF is here. My impulse is likely to come towards my AVF, left ventricle only. That means it has to come in this quadrant only, no? So this quadrant is governed by 3 leads, L1, L2 and AVF. So any one of these 3 leads got the tallest positive QRS complex, my axis is coming towards the normal region. So the normal axis. So I can see either L1 or L2 or AVF. In this quadrant, any one of these leads show the tallest positive QRS complex, I am dealing with the normal axis. Is that clear? It's very simple. This quadrant, there are 4 quadrants there. In this quadrant, normal axis. So once again, whenever you calculate an axis, you look at particular lead to calculate axis and you look the opposite lead to confirm the axis. To confirm. Which is the opposite lead here? AVR. So on a normal axis, look at AVR. AVR will show what? All complexes negative. So in this normal axis, you look at the AVR. AVR shows normal axis, means my impulse is coming in this quadrant. My axis is normal. Clear? Right. Unfortunately, these 3 leads did not show the tallest positive QRS complex. Then 2 leads I have to look, isn't it? L3 and AVL. So I look at L3, I look at AVL. If these 3 leads do not show the tallest positive QRS complex, I look at L3, I look at the AVL. The first scenario, my L3 shows the tallest positive QRS complex. My L3 shows the tallest positive. L3 is what lead? So my L3 is showing the tallest positive QRS. My impulse is coming towards which side? What axis deviation? Right axis deviation. If it's a right axis deviation, which lead I have to look to confirm? If it is coming towards my right side lead, it is going away from my which lead? AVL. AVL should be what? Negative. So if the AVR L3 shows the tallest positive QRS complex, AVL shows the deepest negative QRS complex, I know the impulse is going towards my L3, away from my AVL, I am dealing with the right axis deviation. Is that clear? So first three leads, L1, L2, AVF, normal axis. If it is not there, L3, right axis. Now you tell me this. So this is what happening. My axis is, this is my right ventricle, my L3 is here. If my right ventricle is big and is going to pull the net vector towards the right side, my L3 will show the tallest positive QRS complex. Because this impulse is coming towards the right side, AVL will show the deepest negative QRS complex, confirming my impulse is going towards the right side, away from my left side, it is a right axis deviation. Okay. Next axis you tell me. I will not show you. Next axis you tell me. Left axis. So left axis will show what? Opposite. If AVL shows the tallest positive QRS complex and L3 shows the deepest negative QRS complex, my impulse is going towards my left side, towards the higher lateral surface. Because my left side showing the tallest positive QRS, my left axis deviation will show AVL the tallest and L3 the negative. Is my left axis deviation. That's all the axis. Finished. Now you know to diagnose a normal axis. Now you know to diagnose a right axis. Now you know to diagnose a left axis. All finished. Axis calculation, axis is over. ECG is easy, but not that easy. Right? So if none of, so this is what happens. So in a left sided lead, my axis is coming towards the left side. AVL shows the tallest positive QRS complex and coming towards my left side, it is going away from my right side. So I look at AVL to calculate the axis is left axis. Look at L3 to confirm it is left axis because it is negative in L3. The QRS is negative in L3. Right? So okay. 3 leads you have seen to diagnose normal axis. L3 you look to diagnose right axis. AVL to diagnose left axis. For example, if none of these 5 leads did not show the tallest positive or negative QRS complex, what lead is left? AVR. So none of these 3 normal leads, none of the right side lead, none of the left side lead shows the tallest positive QRS. My AVR is positive. None of the 5 leads did not show any positive or negative. Here you are dealing with what is known as indeterminate axis. Axis in this situation cannot be determined because the axis is going like this towards the AVR. All your 5 leads will show equiphasic complexes. They will not be positive, they will not be negative. Everything will be positive or negative like that. So this is an indeterminate axis. So AVR. So normal axis, right axis, left axis, indeterminate axis. So 4 axis. Is that clear? Now what I am going to say, this is what happening. So in this here, now sometimes what happens is the impulse will come like this and turn like this and go towards the AVR. So because it is going away from all of our 5 leads, all of these 5 leads will not show the either positive or negative QRS complex. So all these 5 leads will show equal positive or negative QRS complex, which is known as equiphasic complexes. In all the 5 leads, AVR is positive, then it is indeterminate axis. Right? Is that clear? So now what I am going to do is to assign a number to each one of these leads. I have seen 5 leads we have seen, 6 leads we have seen. Each one tallest positive, we know what is the axis. But instead of saying a normal axis, I am going to say the number 0 degrees, 60 degrees, 90 degrees like that. This is to intimidate others. For example, instead of normal axis, we say the axis is 60. That fellow must know 60 degrees is normal axis. Right? So instead of saying normal axis, you say 0 degrees. For that, that fellow must know 0 degrees is a normal axis. So for that, we give a number to each one of the leads. For example, you see that lead 1, which is a horizontal lead, isn't it? Horizontal lead. The lead 1 number is 0. So whenever my lead 1 shows the tallest positive QRS complex, my axis is normal. What is my degree? 0 degree. So whenever you see the normal axis, for example, 3 leads I told you, L1, L2, in these 3 leads, L1 shows the tallest positive QRS complex. You know it is a normal axis. But the degree is 0. When L1 shows a normal axis, what is my heart's position? My heart, what is the lead? L1 is what lead? So when the heart is horizontal only, L1 will show the tallest positive QRS complex. So my heart is like this. The impulse will come towards L1. So the L1 will be horizontal. So whenever the L1 is tallest positive QRS complex, 3 things. Normal axis, degree is 0, position is horizontal. All the three things. You must say normal axis, 0 degrees and horizontal heart. Now, whenever my L2 is positive, in these three leads, my L2 is the tallest positive QRS complex. My degree is 60. So, it's once again a normal axis. In the L2 is a normal axis. So, the axis is normal, degree is 60. What is the position of the heart now? Intermediate. So, normal 60 degrees, intermediate is L2. Whenever my AVF shows the tallest positive QRS complex, normal axis 90 degrees, position of the heart, vertical heart. You understand? So, even in the normal axis, you decide whether it is a L2, L1 or AVF, depending upon 0 degrees, 60 degrees and 90 degrees, horizontal heart, intermediate heart or vertical heart. So, once you decide normal axis, you have to decide these three things. Okay. Now, what is the number for L3 now? Whenever there is a right axis, what is my number now? 120. So, whenever the right axis, whenever the L3 shows the tallest positive QRS complex, AVL is negative, then it is a right axis, the degree is 120. The commonest cause of right axis is right ventricular hypertrophy. This is a clinical situation. So, whenever there is a right axis deviation, you must immediately think and diagnose and look for right ventricular hypertrophy. This is a commonest cause of right axis deviation. So, understand three things for L3. L3 is right axis, number is 120, the clinical situation is right ventricular hypertrophy. Everything three things you must remember. Now, you tell me, whenever my AVL is the tallest positive QRS complex, negative, this is the only negative number. All the above this horizontal line is negative, below is positive. So, the only AVL is, what is the degree now? Minus 30, it is the left axis. The commonest cause of left axis is left anterior fascicular block. Remember the fascicles we have told you on the left bundle? One of the fascicle is anterofascicle. Commonest cause of left axis is left anterior fascicular block is the commonest cause of left axis. So, what are the three things for left axis? The AVL. AVL tallest positive is left axis. The degree is minus 30. The clinical scenario is left anterior fascicular block. Then, if the AVR is positive, then it is minus 150 indeterminate axis. None of these 5 leads will show tallest positive QRS complex. So, the axis is minus 150. So, please remember 3 things. Normal axis, L1, normal axis 0 degrees horizontal heart. L2, intermediate heart 60 degrees normal axis. AVF 90 degrees vertical heart normal axis. L3 120 degrees right axis right ventricular hypertrophy. AVL left axis minus 30 left anterior fascicular block. AVR minus 150 indeterminate axis. That's all the axis. Finished. Right? So, this is L1 0, L2 plus 60, AVF plus 90 normal, L3 plus 120 right axis, AVL minus 30 left axis, AVR minus 150 indeterminate axis. So, it is easy to remember. This quadrant is left axis, this quadrant is right axis, this quadrant is normal axis, this quadrant is right axis, this quadrant is indeterminate. Only 4 quadrants. In this quadrant you have 3 leads, in this quadrant you have 1 lead, in this quadrant you will 1 lead, in this quadrant 1 lead. AVR here, AVL here, L3 here, L1, L2, AVF here. That's all. So, once you remember like this, it's so easy to diagnose and calculate axis. So, this is what I told you. Horizontal heart can happen in ascites, pregnancy and obesity. Vertical heart happen in COPD and emphysema. These are clinical scenarios in which this horizontal ascites and pregnancy, the heart is pushed like this. So, you can have the L1 being the tallest positive. Right ventricular hypertrophy is the commonest cause of right axis. Look for the pulmonary hypertension and right ventricular outflow obstructions. Whereas left axis, left anterior fascicular block is the commonest cause. LVH also can cause left axis, but the commonest cause is left anterior fascicular blocks. Look for conditions which can produce left ventricular hypertrophy like hypertension and LVOT obstructions. So, this is your summary. This is your summary. So whenever for the electrical axis, I told you to look at the 6 limb leads. First look at L1, L2 and AVF. If any one of these leads shows the tallest positive QRS complex, you are dealing with a normal axis. In these 3 leads, if the L1 is positive, it is 0 degrees and horizontal heart. If the L2 is the tallest positive, it is 60 degrees and intermediate heart. And AVF shows the tallest positive QRS complex, it is 90 degrees and vertical heart. Always look at AVR to confirm it is a normal axis. If these 3 leads do not show the tallest positive QRS complex, look at L3 and AVL. If the L3 shows the tallest positive QRS complex, it is right axis, 120 degrees. Look at AVL to confirm, and right ventricular hypertrophy is the commonest cause of right axis deviation. If the AVL shows the tallest positive QRS complex, it is minus 30. Look at L3 to confirm, and left ventricular block is the commonest cause of left axis deviation. Whereas none of these 5 leads shows the tallest positive QRS complex, look at lead AVR, in which you have an indeterminate axis. The axis is minus 150 and the axis cannot be determined. So this is in nutshell the approach to an axis calculation.